Hello everybody, how is it going? Hope you guys are all doing fantastic. Hope you don't have too bad of a case of the Mondays. And I wanted to do another talking video. So you guys seem to like these, and let me know if you'd like this to be more of a regular thing. I like thinking of these topics and just kind of, talking and talking about this stuff. So what I wanted to talk about today is some of the best advice that I've ever received as a guitar player, and I think it would be great advice for any guitar player, ever. Regardless of genre, any of that stuff. So I have a few different things here that I want to go through, and hopefully you find this helpful. I did one on about mistakes and bad habits of guitar players, stuff like that, and I wanted to do one on the opposite side. So without further ado, number one. Now, the first one I want to talk about is one that you're probably all thinking of. It's more of a technique-based one. It's all kind of like what beginners are told and stuff like that, and that is obviously utilize your pinky and your alternate pick and stuff like that. And I remember being told that early on, and thankfully I did that, and it really helped me out down the road. Now, the rest of the tips are a little bit more less conventional, I guess. So it's not going to be like, oh, play this note or something like that. It's just these concepts that really, heavily impacted me. And that was one of them. I had so many people telling me, like, use your pinky, alternate pick. In the very beginning stages, I just did it. From hearing people talk about it so much, I was like, well, it must be important. So I went ahead and did it. So that would be number one for me. Now, number two is learn a lot. Learn a lot of different stuff. Everything you listen to, everything you learn how to play, everything that you're surrounding yourself with is shaping who you are as a player. It's all impacting you. So just because I don't play, jazz music or something like that doesn't mean that it's not impacting me listening to it. I mean, I try to learn some, like jazz stuff like George Benson, Pat Martino, and all this kind of stuff, but I'm not a jazz player, but I'm still, it's had an impact on me as a player. And, that's why I think it's important to learn a lot, because you never really know. You could be a hardcore death metal guy, and you learn this jazz line, and you're like, oh, although I might not use it in a jazz kind of way, like that idea would sound really good over here in like this metal thing. So you never really know when things are going to cross paths. Now, the next one that I wanted to talk about is surround yourself with better players, or just great players, good people, motivating people, all that kind of stuff will impact you immensely. So one of the, like I said, I feel extremely fortunate, the musicians that I got to grow up around, grow up as a musician, and just some truly amazing and fantastic, Pat, Robbie Payne, all these guys. I was just so lucky to get to grow up around them and watch what they were doing and learn and steal like little ideas and borrow things from them. And that's because you need to actively seek these guys out. If you just always hang out with, like, if you're an intermediate guitar player and you make it a point to only hang out with, like, beginner guitar players just to kind of make yourself feel better, well, you're never really going to be pushing yourself. I've always, made sure, like, at GitCon with hanging out with Pete Thorne and Phil X and stuff like that, this stuff that we were playing off camera, just kind of getting warmed up, I instantly knew, and I knew it before, but I knew that they were like substantially better than I was. And I feed off of that. Like, it's almost like adrenaline. I'm like, oh God, I'm watching someone who is so much better than me, and it's just like I just want to listen to them. I'm watching their hands. I'm really just trying to take it in. And I think that surrounding yourself with better musicians is so crucial and so important, and you'll really be thankful that you do that. Now, the next one I want to talk about was actually something that Phil X told me at GitCon, and it really hit home with me. And it's, like I said, it's one of those more recent ones, so always be open to this stuff. And he was saying, and he's like, I forget who told him this, but they told him, it's like, play guitar like you like to watch someone play guitar. So if you like watching someone, and that's why I really enjoy, it's like, you get kind of like moving around to, and you get the energy of the music and stuff, and then before you know it, you're just kind of like jamming out and stuff like that. And it's like, don't be afraid to be like expressive when you're playing guitar. Don't worry, are you making faces? Are you saying stuff? Are you like it's like saying the notes as well and stuff like that? Don't worry about it. Just play. Connect. You're just all you're doing in all reality is you're connecting with that music so much more. And, you know, don't be afraid. Like, don't be shy about it. Don't worry about people like, oh, look at that weird guy over there. You know what? It doesn't matter, because if they're worried about your facial expressions and stuff like that, then they're paying attention to the wrong thing, for one. And they should be listening, you know, not worried so much with their eyes. But but like, I enjoy players, you know, like I'm a humongous Phil X fan. I love Paul Gilbert, Nuno Betancourt. Like, when they're playing guitar, they look like they're having a blast playing guitar. And I always want that to, like, relay when I was like, you know what? I love playing guitar. It's like one of my all-time favorite things ever. So I want that to be relayed. Even talking about it, I get excited, you know? I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm shooting this video. I'm not plugged in. I need to plug in and play some riffs, because, like, I've got a guitar right here. I'm ready to go. So, you know, play guitar like you like to see someone play guitar. So, you know, let that sink in. Like, when he said that, I was just like, man, I was like, you know, talk about, like, some perfect advice. Play the guitar like you like to watch someone play guitar. Because if seeing, you know, Jimmy Page reach behind the nut of the guitar and do this, and Eddie Van Halen point his guitar up in the air, and, you know, Slash point his guitar up in the air, or, you know, get into some kind of, like, rock stance, and you're like, wow, you know, if that stuff, like, makes you excited, do it. It's not showboating. It's not showing off. You're just playing guitar, and you are having fun with it. So it's, you know, I shouldn't say this because I'm going to go into the next tip. But we'll end it at that, and then we'll end with this next tip. Now, the final one that I wanted to do, and I keep looking for a pick. There they are. I was like, where are my picks at? And that I think is so crucial is play the way that you want to play all the time. Now, let me clarify on that a little bit, because I'm not saying, you know, be like, oh, screw you, I'm going to hold my pick with my pinky, and, you know, or something like that. Like, you know, there are basic technique outlines that are just there to help you. What I mean is play the style that you want, play it the way that you want to. Like, if you, like, I hate when people put down people who kind of, like, shred, you know, if you're just, like, you know, play some fast stuff. It's like, why? Why in the world are you putting someone who was, like, inspired enough to pursue technique to that level? You know, I don't understand that at all. You know, so many people are like, oh, you're showing, and obviously there's, like, a joking kind of like, oh, show off. But then there's some people who, like, genuinely, like, oh, he's just showing off. And I'm like, no way. I'm not trying to show off. I'm just playing guitar, and I'm playing it the way that I want to play it. So maybe you don't, you know, you could be like, oh, I'm not really into the shred stuff. You know, that's totally fine. But don't try to, like, you know, demean someone else for, you know, wanting to play that stuff and be like, oh, you're showing off. It's like, no. Play the way that you want to all the time. And that's why I approach guitar. When I grab a guitar and I'm ready to go, you know, I'm not worried about it. I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter if people think you're showing off, if people think you're being, you know, like, I mean, like Felix is sitting there jamming, he's like, you know, doing all this crazy stuff, and I'm like, I love it. I love watching it, you know? And it's just, you know, be the player that you want to be at the end of the day. And just, like, really, like, let that be something that you continue to play by. It's like, you know what? I play the way I want to every single time I grab the guitar. I'm not worried about what others will think. I'm not focused on what other people, you know, want me to do and stuff like that. I'm just playing the way that I know how to and what inspires me, you know? So I hope that when I play, that I'm playing, you know, the style that I love, then you know, the stuff like that, that inspiration travels over and connects with people. And then you're connecting, because when you're truly passionate about what you're playing, you're good to go. You know, you can jam on some stuff at that point, and people will feel that. So that is all I have for you guys here today. That got way longer-winded than what I than what I wanted it to be. So hopefully I can, like, trim that down a little bit. But thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Like I said, if you want more of these, let me know. And other than that, peace out, homies. Keep on rocking, and I will see you later.